Hi, and welcome back to Brief Recaps.
Today, I'm going to explain a sports and comedy film titled Kung Fu Dunk, released in 2008. The story unfolds with the child crying loudly. The intensity of the child's tears increases gradually and in a disturbing manner. The noise wakes a man who is asleep directly opposite the baby. Earlier on, the man who was directly asleep opposite the crying child had picked the child up and taken him to this temple. He explains his ordeal to his elder brother, telling him that he had found the baby by chance and he can only leave the baby to him. He states that irrespective of this, he feels that his fate is connected to the child. Thereafter, he presents a gift to his brother which contains a writing. Furthermore, the man breaks the idea of the writing down to his brother, telling him to teach the child what it entails. His brother accepts to do it after observing the child and realizing that the young lad was born for martial arts. After that, the man leaves the temple. Later on, a group of monks are seen training. Years later, the little baby has grown into a young boy and is being trained by a master of martial arts. His master narrates to him how all changes in life form are related to qi. He finds this confusing and does not seem to understand what his master is trying to say. Realizing this, his master explains further and begins to perform all he had said. Surprisingly, everywhere gets cold as snow-like substances begin to fall from the skies. The master tries to control the weather but is unable to control it. This results into everything and everyone freezing except the young boy. Having witnessed this, the young boy becomes terrified. He screams while trying to reach out to his master, who at this time had fallen to the ground. Many more years later, he is all grown into a young man and is seen riding a bicycle across the town. His name is revealed for the first time since his birth as Fang Shiji. He had grown up in the Kung Fu school, but his master lies to him, telling him that he was found next to a basketball court. Due to this, whenever Fang hears the sound of ball thumping, his heartbeat increases. While discussing his love life, he states that 3 girls have had one thing or the other to do with him concerning love. The first girl, he says, will die for him. She had told him before that if he doesn't stop following her, then she would kill herself. The second girl, he says, is from the time of his adolescence. She was ready to wait for him until the next life. The third girl, he says, was when he was poor and lonely. She was always sticking out for him. But the funny thing is, the fact that all his stories were built out of sarcasm. Back at the temple, the monks are training rigorously in the Kung Fu school, and Fang seems to be among them. Since his master died, he had become more defiant. Master Fei and Master Wu are cited. The traditions of Shaolin and Wudang have been passed on from one generation to the other, and they are masters of the 88th and 99th generation of the schools. Fang charges forward to the headmaster as they train head-to-head against each other. The headmaster throws a series of punches at him, causing him to fall off balance. As the headmaster rests his fist a little, Fang rises up to catch his breath. The headmaster detects that Fang had made use of his iron vest to shield the punches thrown at him, so he punishes him by depriving him of his dinner for the night. Furthermore, the headmaster tells him to get out. In compliance, Fang goes to the bank of a river to receive fresh air. Approaching the river, he sees an old man from a distance. He throws an object that attracts the old man. As Fang sits, the old man tries to throw his own object the way Fang did, but fails to aim correctly. Fang laughs at him and does it repeatedly for the old man to see. After that, they sit beside each other, and the man asks him why he has not gone home. Fang does not reply, and the man deduces that Fang is hungry. He tells Fang that he will treat him to dinner if he is able to flip the coin directly into his mouth. Fang does this correctly, and the old man ends up treating him to dinner as promised. While having dinner, they both discuss as the old man introduces him to a grand plan. He says that Fang's athletic potential combined with his own brain, an incredible team would be formed. Later on, they go to a gambling house. Shortly after, Fang plays a dart game with the guy and keeps winning. The man's loss continues to be to Fang's benefit. The man had always won before Fang came along. The owner of the gambling office is infuriated as all the money he had staked on Fang's opponent seems to be a waste. Now frustrated, he decides to face Fang and the old man himself. Although the old man tries to convince Fang that they should leave, Fang refuses to listen and insists on staying, as he is taunted by the boss of the gamblers. Later on, Fang engages in a fight with him and his people. He sends the gamblers flying with his kung fu skills, and in the process, he destroys most of the aesthetics at the gambling house. After defeating them, Fang and the old man successfully leave with the money they had won. Back at the temple, the gamblers come to pay the masters a visit. The reason for the visit is because they have the intention of merging with the temple and seek that Fang be punished, but the headmaster refuses. Just then, a box of expensive gold is brought as extra motivation for the headmaster. He receives this and sees to the severe punishment of Fang, who had made use of his kung fu power in the gambling house. While he is punished, the masters and other students laugh at Fang, and the gamblers are excited at the way their men beat and trample upon Fang. After serving his punishment, Fang is banished from the Kung Fu school in accordance to the request of the boss of the gamblers. He leaves for the town with no shelter or place to stay, as he is also on the quest of finding his parents. The old man that had treated him to dinner earlier cheers him up and says things to make him happy. He then gives Fang a ball to toss into a trash basket. As usual, Fang does it. An idea flashes through his mind as he takes Fang to register into a basketball team. Fang takes several pictures and is on publicity. Later on, Fang makes a speech and also includes that he wishes to find his parents. On his first day at the basketball court, a girl walks up to him and tells him that he cannot join the team without the permission of the captain. The captain appears to be the girl's brother. Fang starts to gain some interest in the girl. He seeks to know who the captain is. As the captain shows up, Fang is surprised. The captain plays basketball in a unique way which surprises everyone on the court. Although it is strange that he never misses his target but is always mostly drunk while playing. Fang is surprised to see this, and so he keeps practicing on his own. He also meets another teammate whose name is Xiao. Xiao proves to be a very good teammate with his overemphasized ego. Finally, Fang meets the captain, although it feels like he is not welcomed on first sight as he tries to learn from him. The captain explains certain things to him while he keeps practicing on his own. He puts in more effort greatly and puts himself through rigorous and personal training to be good. After some time, he has his first match but is benched for it. Fortunately for him, he gets substituted for the captain who had blacked out at some point during the game. The match is not so bad for Fang, although he misses many points recklessly which anger Xiao, who had given him many passes. He eventually proves himself worthy with a point. Meanwhile, the old man has been cheering from a distance, and even after the match, Fang keeps on training hard. Later that night, Fang goes to stand at the front of the house of the captain's sister, whom he had now fallen in love with. Unknown to him, she had been standing downstairs for a while. She, however, also doesn't know that Fang had been the one standing there. She calls him to come around as a pervert has been standing in front of her apartment for a while. After that, she calls her brother for the same purpose. At this point, Fang takes to his heels, deducing that it is him and that he could be coming for him. Meanwhile, his basketball career keeps growing as he works and trains harder. A match is held between Fang's team and a team from another university. Fang and his teammates are warmed up for the match as one of Fang's opponents taunts him. However, Fang ignores him as the match begins. To the surprise of their opponent, Fang keeps giving passes to the captain, who keeps scoring and not missing a point out of any of his passes. Fang doesn't stop at giving passes, but also scores by throwing from a distance, since he is not perfect with using dunk at the time. Towards the end of the match, Fang makes an attempt to dunk. He scores but sustains an injury due to the fact that the dunk isn't perfect. Their opponent, and especially the one who had taunted him, are surprised at the turnout of things. His mouth is wide open as the captain closes it for him. They celebrate their victory thereafter in a bar where Fang is drunk and sees a lot of weird things. A guy walks up to him and whispers into his ear that he does not want to be his enemy. He advises Fang to join his team. Fang, on the other hand, is silent, drunk, and observant. The guy walks up to the girl that Fang likes as she seeks to know what he is doing at the bar. In reply, he claims to have come to see her and leaves the bar. The girl goes to Fang, telling him about the guy that just left. She says his name is Li Tian and he had previously been in their team. She says he was not so good at first, but he was talented. Furthermore, she says he learned things so quickly but changed completely after a while. He left the team on the eve of the final match and also took the best players with him. Fang promises her not to let him get away with it, as he is the same reason why the captain drinks a lot. He had snatched his girlfriend and also used it as a thing to distract him during a match they once had, causing their team to lose. The girl tells Fang she is worried that the old man might sell him out, but he assures her that nothing of such will happen. On the other hand, the old man is tortured severely because he refuses to sell Fang. Fang is exasperated and sorts to deal with them, but is held back and told that he will not be allowed to play the match if he engages in a fight. The old man, however, assures Fang that he can never make the mistake of selling him out. He beckons on Fang to play well and not make him regret his action. Fang's team are up against a dreaded team next, and the team seems to be scary and armed. The old man says he recognizes them as all of them are hooligans who have all been banned from engaging in matches in Japan. During the match, Fang's teammates are severely injured as their opponent plays with vehement violence that results into a series of foul plays of which the referee turns a blind eye. After a while, Fang's team continue to suffer in silence as the captain is severely punched. He makes an attempt to dunk, but falls to the ground as his leg is crushed and trampled upon. Due to this, he is carried away from the court ground for treatment. although Fang tries to get back at his opponent, giving them severe injuries too, but all he does isn't enough, as they eventually lost to their cruel opponent. Shortly after, there is a power outage, causing them to be announced as winners. This is, however, deliberately done by one of the patrons from the opponent's side. Where Fang and the old man sit dejected, the boss of the gambling office walks up to him, telling him there is a match for them and he had already had a bet. The match takes place as it is the same team from the last time. However, Fang is not alone this time, as his kung fu friends come in to join the team after the old man succeeds in persuading them. It is time for the match, as the captain and those that were injured from the last match are seated. They are shocked to see old people in kung fu attires dressed to play against them. They try to remove them, but it is against the rules, as they are already registered. As the match begins, they resume into their foul playing technique as usual, but it doesn't work out this time, as Fang's team are already prepared. They make points with their kung fu skills, as their opponents are in great awe. Shortly after, they call for support, but it only grows worse as they are gradually losing the match. At the second half of the match, the captain and other injured teammates join the match. They had apparently seated in disguise, as the kung fu masters had initially seen to the healing of their wounds. Their opponents are surprised, as they did not expect it. Towards the end of the match, Fang makes the last throw, only for it to be obstructed by a player who had disguised as a referee. At this point, Fang makes use of his master's technique of altering universe, where he freezes everyone and takes them back in time. After this, the game is played differently, as they eventually win. They celebrate greatly, and Fang meets his parents. Eventually, he sticks to the old man who has been with him all through his difficult times and refuses to leave him, even though his parents seem to have reasons for dropping him in the care of someone else. Will Fang's parents let him be and allow him to stay with the old man like he wants? We hope they do. However, kindly like this video and subscribe to